So we got a comment the other day, and it started like this. I know you guys hate RPGs, but blah, 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 blah. And I was thinking, I was like, we don't hate RPGs. We don't talk about them a lot on the channel. We don't play a lot of RPGs anymore. And it spawned the idea of this video is, how has your gaming taste changed? I would love you guys to get active in the comment section. Throughout the age of your life, there are probably pockets of time where you played different type of stuff, in whether it's time, your interest, those type of things. You no longer play that stuff. I think your taste as a gamer evolves. Kind of go through like how has your taste changed over time?
Well, I've had quite the journey, because growing up I had an NES, and then I got an N64 that was my first console, and that was awesome. What was wild is I got the N64 and I didn't have friends, at least around, so I played the N64 solo. You were in the other boat, you played that co-op all the time. So I played the N64 solo, and then I got a PS2 and I was gaming all the time. Kingdom Hearts, like big RPG guy back in the day, back when I was a kid. Kingdom Hearts all the time. I was playing like MVP Baseball 2005. Loved that game, played that wearing my baseball jersey. It was so fun. And then I was into like Tony Hawk, Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and like James Bond games. I was into like a lot of like franchise games, Star Wars games, James Bond games, things, because I liked that, so I wanted to play the games.
Yeah.
And then when I grew up, I kind of shifted into like, I followed like the trend of like Call of Duty, and then I got out of gaming for a while, and then the channel brought me back into gaming. So it's all over the board, dude. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, I think a lot of us follow that path, and I don't hate RPGs. I don't think you do either. I will say with the RPGs, I don't find myself enough time to really dive into those, but I think we can maybe talk about that a little bit more towards the end. For me, my journey as well, even though there's a large age gap, 8 years or so. I was born in 86, you were born in 94. I started with the NES. And the NES is what I had all the way up until the Christmas of 1997. So 11 years. Now, I did play other stuff. I loved going over to my friend's house and whatnot. But when you go over to a friend's house, you don't play RPGs, typically. At least my friends didn't. We were playing Turtles in Time, Streets of Rage, wrestling games, NBA Jam, pick up and play stuff. So on my NES, I played the stuff that I had. We didn't have a lot of games. We had Gradius, Zelda, Excitebike, Punch-Out, Mario 1, 2, and 3, and I think WrestleMania Challenge was kind of the core of what I had. I got really good at all of them. Yeah. But that was pretty much it. Then I got a Super Nintendo on my own in 1997, and that's where I found RPGs. And that's where I loved them. I loved Secret of Mana. I loved Chrono Trigger. I beat Chrono Trigger on the DS 5, 6, 7 years ago to play through it again. From the Super Nintendo, went to the N64. I didn't play any RPGs on the N64.
No. Is there many?
There's not a ton, I don't think. But the N64 for me was like all 4-player. Neighbors had one. We had one. It was all GoldenEye, the 4-player wrestling games, Mario Kart, Mario Party.
Yes.
That type of stuff.
Just a lot of 4-player things. Which is what it was made for.
I did get through the Zelda games, but that was kind of that journey. And then I kind of got out of the 4-player gaming thing because I went to a Dreamcast and no one else had one. Yes, you can do 4-player on Dreamcast, but by myself.
Yeah.
And I played Skies of Arcadia on it. I also had, around that time, I got a PS1 that my uncle had, and I played through Final Fantasy VII. But that right there is about the line of demarcation where I didn't play RPGs anymore.
That's way more than I did.
But when I got to the PS2, no more RPGs. I was all in on Metal Gear, the Grand Theft Auto games, the wrestling games. And then this started like a real big shift for me into competitive sports games.
Yes.
I started playing tournaments in Madden, started winning tournaments in Madden. And then I went down this Madden rabbit hole all the way through like 2016, 2017. I actually had my screen name on NFL Network one time.
Which is badass.
And I was ranked like top 10. And I think it was as high as 4th on the PS4. And I got to the top 32 one year in the Madden Bowl.
Wow.
I was hardcore into it.
Yeah.
And so during that pocket of my life, that's a lot of what I was playing.
Just straight Madden.
Yeah. And because I still had my retro stuff. I never got rid of my retro stuff. I took my Super Nintendo and my NES to college. Had the stuff, but also kind of like you, I kind of got into that Call of Duty train.
Yes.
And then it all kind of came full circle. I had my games, I had my consoles, and I always had like an extra bedroom where my retro stuff was hooked up. But I got reinvigorated with the retro bite when the NES Classic came.
Oh, I think that's what a lot of people, they were like, oh, I forgot about this console, or I forgot about these games, and I can play it on my HD TV.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
And I say reinvigorated, like I never lost sight of retro. I still had my games. I would still buy games, a couple games every year for my NES and my Super Nintendo.
But you didn't have a shelf like this.
No, I had one like little bookshelf that had like my stack of Nintendo, you know, my PS4, PS3, whatever. So I got really hardcore back into it, and I honestly didn't even play the NES Classic that much. That was the tipping point though, of like, dude, what am I doing? I quit playing Madden competitively.
Damn.
I started just playing with my buddy, just 2-player. So still mess around with it, but nothing like I was. And I have never found the time. And then the next journey happens, and YouTube starts.
Yeah, and then the channel, which is its own beast.
It's its own beast, and to me that has really pushed me a lot more. I've always liked co-op games, but now, if I have time to game, and you're around, it's co-op stuff.
What's wild is, before we started the channel, I was kind of out of gaming, which is wild because I run a gaming channel.
I mean, you still had your things though, like Borderlands 2. You went nuts on.
I still played like a few games, but like it wasn't much, and I only had like a PS4. That's like all I had, and I had it because I could stream, I could watch movies on it, and I could game.
Yep.
So before we started the channel, I was way into Borderlands, and then I would play freaking online Call of Duty and an online Battlefield just with my coworkers, and that was it.
Yeah.
So that would be like Friday nights, we would just stay up all night drinking over the headset playing that. And then I remember getting into Rocket League, that was really fun. But that was it. I didn't have any retro consoles. I grew up playing retro, but then didn't own any. So then when we started the channel, I was like, this is awesome. I forgot about these games. So then now I have an NES, now I have a Super Nintendo, now I have all this stuff, and it's fantastic, and it's so fun because we started the channel, and then I'm like, oh, I get to relive these games and find new games.
Yeah, you know another thing that I don't think for us, and I can only speak, but I think this applies to both of us, because we were also in a band together.
Yes.
And there were 2 places we were playing a lot. One was right by a barcade, and one had a barcade in it.
Yep.
And this is before we started the channel, and we were playing a lot of arcade games together, and I haven't thought about that a lot, but I think there was something with that kind of pushed us in this direction.
Well, and also because like when we were playing shows, I was just like, what do I do when we're not playing? So like when there was an arcade, I was like, I want to play a game.
Yeah,
and I like playing arcade games, and it was awesome. But when I was a kid, like going back to that, I loved gaming, but to be honest, I didn't beat a lot of games. Like when I was a kid, I would play Mario and then I'd die and be like, oh, that was fun, shut it off. Or like one of my favorite games ever, Nightfire on the PS2. I play that game so much. I've never beaten it, which is insane because that's one of my favorite games. But I would play it a ton, single player and then multiplayer. It was a fun multiplayer game. But as I've gotten older and as we started the channel, and this actually a few months ago on our Patreon, we got like a question of like, how many games have you beat? And that kind of like was like, okay, I want to beat games now. So now I'm in that motive of like, if I'm gonna put a game in, I'm gonna beat it. And I'm starting to tip the thing, so now I want to 100% it. 100% Burnout, 100% Mario Wonder, 100% freaking Lego Star Wars. I'm in the process, this is gonna sound crazy, I'm in the process of 100%ing Breath of the Wild. I've gotten all the shrines, all the side quests, and I have 200 Korok seeds so far.
Damn.
I'm gonna, because I'm like, if I'm gonna play it, you might as well 100%. Like I might
Give
as
me
well,
all you got.
Yeah, I might as well dive in and get everything out of the game and then move on to the next one. Like, because then it's like, oh, I've been there, done that, it's done. And it's kind of like Breath of the Wild, a lot of people played, and it's like really cool. But it's you don't need to have a lot of skill to beat it. But 100% it, not many people have done that. So that's like my challenge.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. Let's go 100% games.
Yeah. Oh, I think challenge is a big thing for me at this point. I like the challenge. I like keeping my skills up. I want to be great.
Yes.
And I like playing games that push me. And not trying to sound cocky, but it takes a lot for a game to do that for me. And otherwise, it takes such an amazing story that I would have to. I just would have to love to play it. So Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game I've been working through over the last little while. But a game like that's probably going to take me over a year to beat because I'm just going to slowly chip away.
I think you've been playing it for over a year.
I think I have because then Tears of the Kingdom came out. Good. So back to that initial question that made me think about how much my gaming tastes have changed is it's not that I hate RPGs. I'm not really signing up though a lot for 100-hour games, 50-hour games. Yeah. Here and there, again, it's got to be great. Tears of the Kingdom, Red Dead Redemption. I don't have right now the time or the patience to slog through an RPG. I would much rather play a game that tests my hand-eye coordination, like a Contra. And, honestly, I may spend just as much time with it trying to no-death run it.
Yes. See, that's the difference. It's the challenge. Going back to the challenge, is like, we'll spend 100 hours playing Contra to no-death run it. Because then it's like, let's go.
Yeah. And the thing is, you brought up a great point. Red Dead Redemption 2, as great as it is, you don't have to be that great of a gamer to beat it.
And it's like when you tell someone you beat it, or someone tells you that they beat it, you go, oh, cool, how was it? Like, it's just like, it's not an achievement, but when you go, oh, I 100%ed this game, or I just no-death ran this game, people go, what did you just say? People are like, what? Are you a little crazy? And we are.
So I think my tastes have just changed in that regard. I do, in the comment section, a lot of times tell people, I'm going to jump back on the RPG train in my retired years, right? Because then I'm more for a story, for a long journey.
Well, and the tough part with RPGs is like, because we're so busy and we're always playing things for the channel and then life, that if you don't play it for a week, you put it back in and you're like,
where am I?
What are the controls? It's confusing.
Yep.
So like, nowadays, I have a game that I play at home. That's like a single player experience. That's when I 100% things. But then on the channel, I'm like more into pick up and play, quick games, co-op games. Like, we love Call of Duty Nazi Zombies, we love Mario Kart, we love NFL Blitz, we love all these things where it's like, it's just fun to play together, and it's wild because we say we don't have time, but then when you look at how many hours we've spent on Mario Kart 8, 130 hours.
Yeah.
But that's over, a long time, and we can just play a match here and there and move on. So
I don't hate that genre. I like it. It's just not for me right now. And that has changed, because at one point in my life, I remember Final Fantasy VII just being blown away. I remember playing Secret of Mana, being blown away. Those are all games it's been so long, I would love to play them again. I want to play the Final Fantasy remake. I don't dare even start it because I know damn well I'm not going to finish it.
Yeah.
And like you said, I'll get pulled away from it somehow, some way, and then when I go back to it, I'm not going to know where I was.
You'll have to start over.
And so I just know better. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, because I could care less to play one of the new Call of Duties, but when those were coming out when I was in college...
Oh, yeah, when I was in college, too, and then when I had coworkers that were into it, I got into it because it was a way to game with people, even though it was online. It was fantastic. It's just really, like, RPGs, like, I love Kingdom Hearts, like, 2 especially, on the PS2. Yeah. Never beat it, but I played it a ton when I was a kid. I tried playing it again as an adult, and I just couldn't get into the story. And then when 3 came out, I was like so excited. And this is like kind of recently. This is when we had the channel, and I started playing it, and I did like it, but then it didn't click for me, and so I never got back to it, and never beat that one either. I would love to beat it and play it, but games sometimes just don't click, especially modern games. Like, if it doesn't click, I'm just like, okay, I'd rather play something else that I do like.
Yeah,
it's weird. But then also the channel is fun too, because we have all these games, and it's like, okay, NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis. We have so many games, especially retro, that's easy. You can 30 minutes play through and get an idea and beat it, and then move on. Like, that's what's really nice about retro.
Yeah, and even down to sports titles. I used to be all about sim sports.
Yeah,
I wanted the MLB, the shows, the Mads.
Anymore, those are badass, though.
It is, but anymore, I want to play arcade sports. Pick up and play. It's fun. It's rubber bandy. It gets shit talking going. It keeps it close. I'm way more into shooters now than I ever was. Spaceship shooters.
Ooh, okay.
Way more into those. I missed a whole pocket of some great shit. I was not into Gradius 5. I didn't even know Gradius 5 was on the PS2. I wasn't even playing that type of stuff then. But now I'm finding all of the shooters. And
then you're like, oh my god, this is fantastic. Yeah. But also, like, back in the day, if you would have discovered it, I don't know if you would have been into it, like, because you were distracted with everything else.
I know, and I think I would have, because one of my first fistful of NES games was Gradius. Yeah. So I think I would have, but I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have.
It is wild, just even like the past 5.5, 6 years that we've done the channel. Just in that time, my gaming has kind of changed, because I went from like not really playing a ton to more retro, and now like this year, well, last year, I am playing Zelda now, and I've never played Zelda before, and that's so much fun. So I'm giving games a lot of chances now. Back before the channel and stuff, if it wasn't a game that I knew about or someone recommended, I wouldn't even give it a chance. So that's kind of cool that I'm like, okay, I'm willing to give things a chance now, and it's going to be really exciting to see like what happens in the next 5 years. Like, maybe I'll get back into RPGs. Maybe I'll get into this type of game. It's kind of fun to be a gamer, because things happen and evolve, and you go through pockets of not gaming, but then you get really into gaming, and it's kind of fun.
It is, and you know, there are certain things too that I've mentioned on the channel before. Like, I think you only have so many games in you from a certain genre. Like, I don't know that I can ever get through like an Arkham Asylum / Spider-Man type of game again.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can get through another Grand Theft Auto game again.
Yeah.
It may take some time. Just because I've done it so many times, I'm kind of just tired with that formula.
I mean, I loved Arkham Asylum, and then the next one that came out, and then I tried playing Arkham Knight or Arkham City, one of those, and I really liked it because I liked Batman and I liked the franchise. All the side stuff annoyed me, all the tank missions annoyed me, so I never got around to beating it, and my save file is pretty far, so sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to get back into this, and I jump into it, and I'm like, so I got to start over. Like, I know it's not an RPG, but that's what it feels like because I haven't played it in so long. So it's
you're just getting your ass kicked every time you see somebody.
It is tough. But those games are. It's kind of fun, dude. It's fun to be a gamer.
This is just a discussion-based episode. We kind of went all over the board. Zero agenda as far as a script or whatever. But we just want to talk through our journey as gamers. And I would love for you guys in the comment section below. Explain. I would have to guess most people have been down this road. I think there's people that probably were first-person shooter people, and now they're only playing RPGs, and vice versa.
Or
everywhere
big
in between.
into online, and now you're just into retro or co-op, and it's kind of fun because a lot of gaming, at least for my life, has been with people.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it's why the channel, like growing up. I remember Gen 6. Huge fan, like 4-player GameCube. That's how I discovered Mario Strikers. That's how, like, Rock Band, Guitar Hero, just getting the neighbors together. Games that unified us. Wii Bowling, games that brought people together. I loved because I was hanging out with people, having fun. I mean, I still love those, but that was like when I was like Gen 6. I don't know, 10 to 15 probably. Those were amazing times.
Yeah, and I just thought about. I hardly play online games anymore at all.
I don't even have a membership for online. I think we have like the Nintendo online, but I don't use it. I don't play online
play
at all.
Mario Kart with people on stream, and I'll play Madden with my buddy.
That's it. Yeah.
And that's probably PS4 era is the first time that's been a real like thing. I just am into either single player or multiplayer.
Yep.
Boots on the ground experiences. It's weird.
Yeah, the last online game I played, it was. I mean, it's still a game, but it was that Call of Duty game. Warzone.
Yeah.
But I haven't played it for probably a year.
Yeah.
So that was like but I was really into that when that came out because that was like a big deal and it was fun to chit chat with people. But I'd rather play a single player game and dive into it like when I'm at home, or do co-op stuff when I'm doing this or hanging out with people.
Maybe the answer to the question is, we're just getting old.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. We're aging like fine wine. Hopefully.
Yeah. Speaking of fine wine, it's time for our beer reviews because. As Robert would say, beer reviews are back, baby.
Beer reviews are back, baby. Today we're drinking Permanent Funeral by Three Floyds and Pig Destroyer, which is a band, so they collaborated with. This is a Imperial IPA that comes in at 10.5%, and unlike a temporary funeral, it's permanent.
Yeah.
What's a permanent
I mean,
funeral?
I'm guessing Pig Destroyer is a metal band.
I'm guessing so, dude. Like on the back it says the wolf inside this Imperial IPA is trying to walk upright. This bright and aromatic beer was brewed with our friends in the band Pig Destroyer. And then at the bottom it says it's not normal.
Yeah, sounds a little crazy. Somebody's watching this like, you don't know who Pig Destroyer is? You suck. Rage. This is really good.
This is really good, dude.
Yeah.
It's wild as it's 10.5, but it doesn't taste like it's 10.5.
No,
I love
smooth.
IPAs. It's very smooth. You get good fruit notes. It's an easy drinker, and that's dangerous for a 10.5 Imperial IPA.
Well, we split the can, so it's about like drinking.
A 6.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
but no, I think it's really good. And I honestly, sometimes Imperial IPAs are so hoppy. This does have good hop character, but it's not overpowering.
No, but it's a balanced hop. It's like you get really good. If you like IPAs, you get a good hop taste, but it's not aggressive. Because I was expecting 10.5 Pig Destroyer metal. Let's freaking kick my teeth in with hops.
Yeah.
No, this is like I poured it.
Destroy my pigs.
Yeah, this is freaking delicious, dude.
It is, and I think the hops really arc on the finish. You don't really feel a lot of it as it cascades over the tongue. You just get a little spike at the back, but
it is tasty.
It is fantastic brew. Three Floyds typically knocks things out of the park. They did not disappoint with this one, and neither did Pig Destroyer. I don't know, but anyways, guys, in the comment section below, make sure you let us know what has changed in your gaming journey. What genres were you into, and now you're not? or you weren't and now you are. It's fun to talk about this stuff. We wanted to throw out a quick discussion episode. We appreciate you tuning in, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one right here on the one and only Gaming Off the Grid. Paint Destroyer!